going to call back to order our Buncombe County Board of Commissioners meeting for June 21, 2016. We have a motion by Vice Chair, a second by Commissioner Frost for a budget with numerous amendments. Do we have those in the record? Do you have
would
those?
like to reread them into the
Okay,
record
yes,
to make
ma'am,
sure that we're right.
Dr. Graham.
Okay. Include the 11 agencies at the amount recommended on the spreadsheet you had, which is already included in the budget, but it'd be distributed to those 11 agencies. Okay, the ads are $75,000 for Asheville Museum of Science, $500,000 for non-certified to be split ADM between the two school systems, 1/2 of the request for teacher supplements, and the ADM share for Asheville City Schools comes to just over $1.9 million, but we'll have that exact number and amend it that way. We'll get that for you in a second. $100,000 for greenways. And just to back up and say that the instructions we hear are to do 1/2 of the teacher supplements this year and to include the other half in the budget in 2018. The $174,000 for retiree premiums or the percentage and health insurance, and the $120,000 for home base and canvas and the city's share of those. Contingency for $1,817,000, which would be the total for Buncombe County Schools and Asheville City Schools that would go into education contingency until we know the outcome of the state budget. And then just to be sure that I heard this right, $1 million, the commissioners want us to place $1 million in the 2021 capital budget for I26.
Multimodal.
Multimodal.
Tag toward multimodal improvements to the plan that comes through.
To the
right,
I26 plans, or?
Yes, let me just share a little bit more details about that. You know, as people are probably aware, the North Carolina Department of Transportation has selected a preferred alternative for implementation of the I26 connector through Buncombe County, and the community has been extensively involved in it and has asked for elements in the project to help preserve community connectivity and to add multimodal infrastructure elements to it, which in some ways go above and beyond the typical DOT cookie cutter designs. And the DOT has expressed a lot of support for those. The city of Asheville has invested, I believe, $1 million to provide some local match for that. So I think it would be a real show of good faith for Buncombe County to do the same. That will provide only a small percentage of the costs to build that infrastructure, but by showing that the community considers it a priority, I believe we have a better chance for those design elements to be included in this most important transportation project that we're ever going to see in our lifetimes, to make sure the community gets some of the aspects to it that a lot of people have clearly indicated they want.
The one other thing I need to add is the funding for the Nesbitt and Intermediate and the ADM share.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we heard. That's what we heard, and that's what we'll include. And if we adopt it as an amended budget.
I want to take just a minute to thank everyone, you and all the people that do this year after year. And it wasn't the easiest year. There were a lot of challenges. And based on your hard work and your figuring, we know a lot of people whose lives are going to be immeasurably better come July 1st.
Well, I'd like to thank all my department directors and these three folks sitting right back here going furiously with their pens and calculators right now. And little Addison wonders why her mommy hadn't gone home.
Well, and I just would like to add, first of all, I'd like to recognize Amy Churchill, Buncombe County School Board. Thank you for being here, and she's been to many of our meetings. They are always here, and they start working on this budget a couple months after we adopt this budget. They'll probably be on it next month and start working through the preliminary. So this is my 20th and last budget, and it's an amazing process. I hate to admit how little I knew about my first budget, but let me just say when we voted on it, I didn't know it was time to vote on it. So I was, everyone on this board did a lot better than I did my first year. But I want to thank you, too, for your hard work. It's a lot of moving parts. It changes. There's a lot of factors we have no control over, such as the state and federal, and we have to respond to them, and we don't know when they're going to change the rules or change the engagement that we have with them. I'd like to thank all the nonprofits. I'd like to thank the arts community. I'd like to thank the recreation community, the education community. We just have some really good people that want to do good and make the place a better area to live in. And at the end of the day, that's kind of why the good Lord put us here. You just want to improve everyone around you. You want them to be the best they can and do the best they can. And I think this budget does this. It's not perfect. It's not what I probably would have done line by line, but it's taken a lot of work. All these commissioners have worked very hard on it. Staff has worked extremely hard for almost a year, and thank you for letting me be part of the process. I've enjoyed it. Every year's different. This was the most different year of all, I think. And I think it's a good budget. I think it's got what we need to move Buncombe County further and farther and make it a better place to live. So that's what I have to say. Any other comments?
I just would like to say that this too will be my last budget. No, but I really feel like each budget kind of has some type of reflection for what's happening in the community. But the themes that I would see, particularly in the last 4 years, is that this board has recognized that our community values education. So we have tried to, build the schools and listen to the advocates for the teachers as well as all the personnel that makes everything tick. And so it feels really good to have a document that that we are signing off on that will really be the core investment, not just for this year, but the investments that we make this year we know just carry on and go forward. So I'm really proud of this of the commitments that are reflected in this budget, and also I'm so grateful for all y'all do to hear us and to kind of find ways forward to make it all work. So thank you.
All right, any other comments? Are
we speaking to the motion, or are we just speaking in general?
Speaking to the motion.
I think it's kind of open mic, Commissioner, so either one's good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to thank Dr. Green and her staff for helping me understand the budget. Most of my time in elected office has been on tax policy. It's a lot more fun. Spending other people's money is not as fun, unless it's my dad's money. But I will say that, two things. I like the budget, but there are two things that I'm disappointed in. The first one is a little over 26 hours ago, we did not have a $5 million surplus. Sure. And within 26 hours, we have spent the surplus instead of returning just a portion of that back to the hardworking taxpayers of Buncombe County. I think it's incumbent upon us as elected officials, when we have those surpluses, to be mindful of the fact that we take that money by law from hardworking citizens. And when we have an opportunity to return that back to them, regardless if it's $10 or $20, it's important that we do so. So I'm disappointed that my motion regarding that failed. Secondly, and Dr. Baldwin and I go back a number of years, and one of the most complicated subjects I've ever encountered publicly is public education funding. And it's something that I'm not sure I would ever get caught up to speed regarding, but I do find it somewhat concerning that since there's no statutory requirement that there be a fund balance, that a high fund balance is being managed. If there's ever a situation where Buncombe County Schools needs money, then that's what we're here for. That's the reason we have a fund balance. So I do appreciate the way that you have run our school systems, and I certainly appreciate where you're coming from in regards to maintaining that level of funding in the account. But I do think that in lean times, when we have an opportunity to use a portion of that to meet your request, that it would be appropriate to do so. Based on that, I will not be able to support the motion.
All righty, any other comments or questions?
I guess just one other thing I would just share too, Mr. Chairman, is, and this is, it's not just semantics, but it's part of the roles of government, the roles of the school board, the roles of this commission. Specifically, the additional funding that we are making in this year's budget is what we are asking the school board to do. It is not something that we can directly mandate, and so I just want to acknowledge that, and I want to just say how much we appreciate the partnership and how the thinking that's gone in. I think we've endeavored to be as responsive as we can to the specific proposals that came to us, consistent with the physical constraints that we are operating under. And but I just wanted to say that out loud, because there are some things that the county can decide to do directly, and once we make a decision, it's over. But this is a relationship of cooperation and communication between these two bodies, and so I just want to say that out loud before we take a final vote.
Righty, any other comments? or
I walked,
questions?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Commissioner?
I walked in this room wanting to vote for a budget for my first time. And I pretty well had it, because the only thing I said to Ms. Green was, if you've got a budget and it's not going to go out, if the schools need to use their fund balance so that we don't have to go up on property taxes, I'd vote for the budget. Well, we're probably not going up on the property taxes, but we had, as Mr. Moffitt just said, we had an opportunity to give the people of Buncombe County a penny back, and it's $20. So be it, on $200,000, $30 on $300,000. But we got 2,500 people that walk in that tax office that make payments on their taxes that want to stay in their homes. It's probably as old as me or older. And I cannot do that when it was a generous thing to try to give 1 penny back to these people of the county. That's a lot of money. There's, we're taking from the people $29.5 billion. We have nonprofits that I'd sure like to see fess up on $5.5 billion. Then we wouldn't have any problems at schools or anything. But the fact is, when we're talking bridges to put multimobile on $1 million, we're talking about greenways to take this money that he helped appropriate in Raleigh. We could give it to something to the schools, whatever it is. But this budget, the way they have just laid it out, I cannot vote for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've got a couple comments. I'm probably as frustrated with this budget as any that I've had, but let me preface it to say, Dr. Green, that prior to a lot of what's happened this evening, amazing job.
Thank you.
There was challenges throughout the year, at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and the end of the year, and to be able to present a budget to us without the additional $5 million that was going to be, the no tax increase was pretty surprising to me. Second thing I'd like to say, I am very proud of the fact that I started a conversation about non-qualified pay. I think we've left some on the table. I personally don't think that the budget does enough there. But I would have supported, and the school board and everybody there knows how big a supporter I am of the schools in this county. And to be put in a position to where a budget, we have $5 million, and then it almost makes you look like that you're not, it's very frustrating to me. But I'm okay with that because I signed up for this, and, you put your big boy britches and go on. There is a lot of things that like I said, about the budget that I really did like. I do like the fact that I would have liked to seen us take care of the non-certified a little bit more. That didn't happen. And I would have been a supporter over time of the supplement. I am also disappointed that when we did receive a large amount, because one of the conversations I've been having is that, if the bill, passed, that there would be that funding, and this board has done an amazing job in taking care of schools and making sure that schools are taken care of and funding schools, and the two city schools, would give an opportunity to free up that debt. And so that was, pretty exciting to me. But there are some things that it doesn't do that concern me, and I'm not going to be supporting the budget tonight, but I'm very supportive of the increases here in some of the pay, and I'm very excited about that. So that's all I got to say.
Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I just wanted to, in addition, just to kind of underscore the value of investing in education of our community. I mean, I would say over the 8 years that I've been a commissioner, I have had 500 to 1 requests, do more for schools, do more for teachers, to 1 request for please reduce my tax rate. So, send the emails my way, that's fine. But I'm just saying that our schools have been starved. Our teachers are leaving. Our personnel are down. So we do have some resources, and I thank the schools in the times that were really hard and tight to hold it together. But when we do have some flexibility to invest, it's not necessarily, I don't see it as spending, and that'll just be a difference that we will always have. I see it as an investment, and I am reflecting the constituents that I serve and the community that I love. And I just wanted to add that underscore one more time.
I wanted to just
Commissioner, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
to reiterate, I've been a commissioner since 2012 and heard lots from teachers, from non-certified personnel, from the needs of the community. Schools are, if we're going to invest in anything, to use your word, it's schools. It's from the cafeteria workers, the custodians, teachers' assistants, bus drivers, to the teachers. If we don't put our money there, I don't know where else we would put it. And, well, I, like Commissioner Jones, no one has ever said to me, please lower the tax rate on my $200,000 house so I can save $20. What they have said is do everything you can for schools. So,
All righty. Last call.
Well, can I be the next, can I be the last
The
call?
last call. Dr.
We are juggling the numbers, and we have to go out 4 digits on ADM. So I would just like, for the record, for you to authorize us to go up to about $75,000 of additional fund balance if we need to.
I support the recommendation as part of the motion.
Okay, is that, and that's
Yeah,
second?
yeah.
Okay, so friendly amendment is, friendly suggestion, she's not on the board, so you take that as an amendment, and so the amendment is everything he said earlier and she said earlier, plus 75 out of...
If needed, and we'll report that back to you.
75,000 out of fund balance. All right, any other comments?
I just something to clarify from what Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Frost had to say. The issue is not whether or not we support, or I support, teachers or supplemental raises, or it has nothing to do with that. It's all about how we use the funding that's available to get there. So I don't look at it as a choice between lowering the tax rate or funding the teachers. That's certainly not my position, never has been, never will be. But we did have an opportunity to lower the tax rate and fully fund the request from Buncombe County Schools by suggesting that they use a portion of their fund balance to achieve the balance of their requests. So I think it can be confusing to suggest that it's one or the other, when in fact my motion to adopt the budget was fully in support of the teachers, the non-certified or unqualified folks, as well as reduce the tax rate. And I'm done.
All righty. Any other comments or questions? We have a motion from the vice chair. We have a second from Commissioner Frost. Any other discussion? Last call. Call the question. All those in favor of the budget as set out for consideration by Vice Chair and Commissioner Frost, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
No.
The motion carries by 4-3 vote. Commissioner Belcher, Moffitt, and Fryer against. We have a budget. Thank you. Next up, we have, next up. Yes. Next up, we have board appointments. Mountain Area Workforce Development Board. We have 5 reappointments. Are there any nominations?
I would nominate Brian Dover, Peter Cook, Dusty Rhodes, Rick Mellenberg, and Sarah Dunn.
Dusty Rhodes.
Are there any other nominations for those 5 seats? All those in favor of the nominations as set forth, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. They are adopted by 7-0 vote. We have 2 commissioner seats to fill. The Health and Human Services Board, Commissioner Fryer, Belcher, and Frost have expressed interest, and I would ask the clerk to poll the board.
Okay, I'll start down here.
I would agree.
Frost.
Frost.
Explain to me what we're doing.
I'm sorry. There are 3 people expressed interest, and so we're voting between Fryer, Belcher, and Frost.
Oh, so we can only choose one of them?
Yes.
So if I refuse to vote, it's an affirmative vote according to the rules, but who's it go to? I'm just kidding. I'll say Belcher.
Frost.
Frost.
Belcher.
Frost.
Frost.
All right. And Land to Sky Regional Council, we have a commissioner seat.
Make a motion to appoint Commissioner Moffitt.
Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of Commissioner Moffitt, say aye.
Aye.
He is appointed by unanimous. Any closed session tonight? Just kidding. Our next board meeting is August 2, beginning at 4:30 at 200 College Street, room 326. Everyone have a good July. That's all for tonight. Adjourned. Hey, thank you. Thank you. You too. Good job.
We need new chairs, though.
Or should I take a motion? We should do a motion. We're supposed to do a motion.